Hi guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Nikki here. So today I want to do a tutorial just on base makeup because I feel like getting that base makeup spot on, just flawless. You can add any eye, any lip to it and it will look banging. But if you've got a rough patchy base, then whatever you do, if you do like the most amazing eye art on your eyes, it just doesn't look the same. So we're gonna go ahead and move straight into that. Okay, so I can't express to you guys how much skincare is going to affect your base. It just is a good skincare routine, morning and night, will really help you guys out. So when you start off in the morning or whenever you're going to be applying makeup, make sure that your skin is nicely cleansed. I love the CeraVe cleanser, the hydrating one. That's the one that I tend to use on a daily basis. But everything will switch up. Make sure you're doing your sheet mask. Make sure your skin is feeling and looking hydrated and moisturized. And then I'm going to move into a moisturizer. Now it's up to you guys depending on your skin type. I'm going to be using for today the Mercier. This is the Perfect Cream Multitasking Moisturizer. I also like the Kiehl's Ultra Facial. Any kind of moisturizer that is for your skin type. Apply it on the skin. The last thing you want to do is apply foundation straight on to bare skin. So I'm going to apply this all over the face and neck area. Once that is done, this is an optional step. I don't always do this. Sometimes I'll just go straight in to a foundation. But the primer that I do love is the Milk Makeup. This is the Hydro Grip Primer. I think I like it because it's not like silicone. It doesn't rub off. It just goes on really nice and smooth. I think this would be a really good primer if you do have larger pores around your nose area. I feel like this would really smooth it out. But it isn't too thick on the skin, which I love. So I'm just going to take literally 2 pumps of this and then pop this all over the face as well. Okay, so I know that this isn't the most exciting of tutorials, I'm aware, but I asked you guys on Instagram, what did you want to see from me? And so many people, I can't even explain to you, so many people asked for how to cover dark under eyes, your under eye circles. So I thought I would just do a base makeup because it all kind of just goes together anyway. So I thought I would speak through that. So for foundation, I'm going to be using the MAC Face and Body Foundation in C6. Shock. You guys know, if you've been following me for like years and years and years, this is one of my staple foundations. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to apply this with a beauty blender all over the face. Now, depending on the cut of my top, I will always take it down to my neck, my chest, whatever is exposed, I will take it down because I like everything to be one tone. And I think that's really important because you don't want to look like you can see the foundation on the face, you know, and then your neck's a completely different color. Just take this bad boy down. I just love this foundation so much. Super lightweight coverage, not too much going on. I've always said, and I swear by, adding the coverage where you need it. So I don't feel like anyone necessarily needs coverage all over their face. And then with the coverage, you'll see I love a thick concealer. I love a pigmented concealer, mainly for underneath my eyes and around my mouth area, which can tend to go a little bit dark and ashy. So we're going to correct all of that. I like to keep the base fairly light. Next, for my boys and girls that do have a little bit of pigmentation, this is going to help you. So with me personally, it's lightened up a lot with just me doing skincare using vitamin C brightening products, but around my mouth area has always been an area of concern. I've always had pigmentation there. It's, I would say, a shade darker than my natural skin tone. So around my mouth and my forehead tends to be darker naturally anyway. But this area, when I'm concealing, especially if I'm adding like a highlighter concealer, can get ashy. So what I like to use, and the product that I love so very much, is the Maybelline. This is the Instant Anti-Age Eraser in the shade Tan. Now it's specific to the shade because Tan has a little bit of an orangey tone. That orangey tone it won't make your around your mouth look orangey, but it does counteract that kind of ashiness, you know. You don't want to go straight in with a lighter concealer. I feel like I understand a lot of you when you say that you'll go in and start highlighting a dark area, but that's only going to turn it grey and like charcoaly. So you want to use an orange, which is going to counteract that. And this color in Tan is perfect for me and perfect for my skin shade because it's quite similar to my skin shade. It's just is a little bit darker, a little bit too orange, but it works for around my mouth area. So I'm just going to apply that around my mouth area and then blend that again with my beauty blender. Okay, so I'm hoping that you guys can see a difference. I know it's a slight difference, and it's an added extra step. You guys don't have to do it. It depends on the severity of the darkness. I feel like I could get away with it. Sometimes I apply it, sometimes I don't. But I wanted to show you this in full force. Now, for under eyes, I use a different concealer You can use the tan, you can, but I feel like this shade is better for underneath my eyes, because even though it's dark, it goes into skin, which is my cheeks, and the cheeks are a little bit brighter than around my mouth area. So this, I felt like I needed something a little bit darker and orangey, and this tone I don't feel like I need something as orangey. I need it to be very, very similar to my skin tone. I hope I'm making sense. So for that, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer, and this is the shade Honey. So I did used to use Warm Sand, which also works. It's a little bit darker, but I felt like Honey works absolutely spot on with my skin tone. It's very similar to my skin tone. So this is a very, not thick, it's a liquid, but it's very, very, very pigmented. And I do love Too Faced for concealer and base products. I love the shade range. If you're similar to me, the skin tones are beautiful. So I'm just gonna be applying this kind of like underneath my eyes, but not too much, not all the way, but into the inner corner, and then bringing it midway. And I'm gonna blend this out with a beauty blender. I also like to take this beauty blender on my eyelids with the excess product, just to get rid of the darkness that I have and the smoke that I have on the top of my lids as well. Now I'm gonna move in to another concealer. You don't have to do this step at all. I just feel like this helps a lot when I like to bronze, because I like to bronze my skin. I like to balance it out with a little bit of highlighter. Now my favorite highlighter concealer just at the moment, and this is fairly new, is the Kosas concealer in 06. I don't know what it is, it just feels kind of like their tinted face oil. It feels a little bit oily, which means it feels like it goes on smoother and just really, really nice onto the skin. So I'm going to highlight the skin with this. We're going to do the under eyes. I'm going to do the center of the face as well. This will lighten the skin tone quite a bit, but we are going to be adding contour and adding a shape back in. But if you're going for more of a natural look, then by all means you could add a mascara, add a little bit of powder, and you'd be ready to go. But I'm going to add a little bit of this highlighter and concealer, and then I'm going to blend that out using a beauty blender. Let's go in with a little bit of bronzing. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I love cream and liquid products all day, every day. So I am going to be cream bronzing, and then we will set with a powder. If you don't want to do this step, then you can just powder and go in with your powder products, like your powder blush, your powder contour, your powder bronzer, if it makes it easier for you. I just like to do this because I think it looks a little bit more natural. I'm going to be using the Makeup Obsession D03. I believe this is their quick stick. So it looks a little bit like this in a cream format, in a stick, and then it just makes it easier to apply. So I'm going to apply this to my cheeks, my temples, my jawline, and also the sides of my nose, just to tie the whole warmness together. It's also going to add a bit of dimension to the face because we are looking fairly flat right now, and it's going to add a little bit of color as well. Okay, now that we are all nicely bronzed, the next step will depend on what kind of makeup look you're doing. I love blusher, but I know that I want to go with a bolder lip today, so I'm going to keep it kind of simple, very neutral. I love the Fenty cream blushes. This one's in Petal Poppin, and then I also have Strawberry Drip. They're the ones that I like to use. They're cream blushes, so I'm just going to apply a little bit of this to the apples of the cheeks and then blend that bad boy up. And then all I did was just add a little bit of the brow microfilling pen by Benefit. This is in the shade Deep Brown. Now, honestly, when you pop it on, you can't even see it, but you can see the difference that it makes, which is so bizarre. I've just run this through the brows. So it's super, super subtle, but it does give me a little something, something, you know? Now, don't worry, I know I'm looking shiny. I'm sweating a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. We are gonna add a powder after this step. But the final step, I don't always do this at all, but if I'm feeling fancy, I will add a little bit of concealer. Could be any concealer to just underneath my brow bone, just to lift that a little bit. I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Bare Pro in Tan Neutral. This one's just convenient. It's a cream in a stick format. I like to take this on the Bare Minerals concealer brush. Just add a little dab, just to kind of highlight, just for a little bit of zhuzh, to lift that brow a little bit. Just underneath there. Also is really good if you need a bit of a brow cleanup, but you know what, to be honest, I'm letting my brows grow out and I'm loving it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this highlight on my brow bone. Okay, so now we're going to lock everything in with powder. I'm just going to quickly go over how I use powder. There's two ways I use it. So either I want a very natural finish, and it's going to lock my foundation in, make it look a little bit matte down the center. All I would do is take a fluffy brush and just brush this bad boy, the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder in Banana Bread all over, right? That's one way. There's a second way that I'm going to do today for more of a dramatic effect when you want your skin to look super airbrushed, very flawless, works really beautifully in photographs, and that is to use a combination of pressing the powder in with a beauty blender and then also the fluffy brush as well. So we're gonna go with the second option just so I can show you that flawless technique. I'm gonna be using the Huda Beauty Banana Bread, and the first thing I'm gonna do is take my damp beauty blender. So this is when everything gets locked into place. This is when no cream or liquid products can further go on top. It's just powders from now on. Take your damp beauty blender. I've tried this with a dry beauty blender and it looked absolutely awful, so make sure it's a damp one. And then I just use that foundation concealer side. I'll dip this into my Huda Beauty powder and I'm just going to press this to start off with underneath your eyes. Also, just make sure beforehand that your under eyes are crease free, so there's no creases. Get rid of any of that jazz, we don't want that. And then just press this underneath your eyes. Then I'm going to take a fluffy brush, swirl that around into my powder, and I'm just going to brush that all over the face just so we are nicely set and locked in. Now of course you can have your base done, add mascara, add your lip, but I like to go back in to my powder products now. So we are going to go with a powder bronzer. This is MAC Give Me Sun. I'm going to quickly just add a little bit of pigment because I feel like when I add the powder I lose a little bit of the pigment, as you would when you're like blending out a crease shade. You have to keep kind of adding to it. So we're going to set that bronzer in place with Give Me Sun, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing with the blusher as well. For blusher, I've been loving the Technic Matte Mega Blusher Quad. I just love the shades in here, so I'm going to take a mix of them and then just reapply my blusher as well. So I know for some of you it can be a lot. You don't need to add the cream blusher and bronzer. Skip out that step completely. I just like to do it. I'm in the habit of doing it and I feel like it makes your makeup last longer. But what I'm going to do is, now that base is done, I'm going to do my eyes. Let's do lips back on camera and it'll give you an idea of what everything looks like. The whole face looks like complete. Okay, now that we are back, I've just quickly done the eyes. I didn't really want to film it on camera because I wanted this to be about the base, but I do want to do the lips. I want to do a deep, dark, bold lip. For the eyes, I've used Urban Decay Stoned palette just with my finger and then kind of just applied it on. It's actually the first time I've used it and it's so stunning, really glimmery and beautiful. But let's go ahead and do lips. I'm going to start off, let me just grab my liner. I'm going to use the NARS. This is a Velvet Matte Lip Pencil in Train Bleu, which is this kind of like dark maroony wineish shade, really, really deep, which I really love. So let's just apply it by lining the lips with this. Then I'm going to fill the lip in with Huda Beauty's. This is in Masquerade Matte Lipstick. Such a beautiful color again. It's a little bit deeper than the lip line, so we're just going to kind of blend the two in. I just love the shade on the lip. It's so beautiful. It's kind of like a deep, deep purple wine shade. I just love it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spritz my Revolution. This is a Superfruit Replenishing Essence Spray. So let's just do a few spritz of this. I've actually run out and the other bottle that I've got is completely run out, so I need to get another one, but that's what I'm gonna do and let it dry. And that, guys, is the finished look. I hope you guys really enjoyed this makeup tutorial. It was mainly about base, but I'm loving this whole look. Let me know your thoughts down below. Also, I know that I'm getting quite a few comments on the lighting. I'm adapting. I'm trying to film in daylight because I feel like it's better quality for you guys to see. Let me know your thoughts, but every video is going to be a little bit different, so just bear with me until I get the right setting. Hopefully we get to move soon and I can have a really beautiful studio, but you just gotta bear with me for the time being. But let me know nonetheless what you think of this base makeup if you made it to the end of the video down below. Also follow me on Instagram where I upload every single day. You see content from me there hourly on stories, and then I upload a video there every day as well if you're interested in seeing more tutorials. And that is it, guys. I love you guys so very much. Have a lovely day. Mwah.